Hi and welcome to BeerGenius. I'm Jameson Huckaba. I'm with Louis French. We are here to check out Boulevard's new Rye-on-Rye. It's part of their limited release Smokestack series. It just came out today. That's the 22nd of February, 2010. Unbelievable. So this is part of their barrel-aged series and an extension of that. What we have here is a percentage of this beer that is actually rye beer, and they perfume it with all of these fantastic, I think, Pearl, Magnum, and Saphir hops. So what happens is you get a really well-balanced, interesting, complex beer that has actually been aged in these oak barrels that were used by the Templeton micro distillery in Iowa. And Templeton has an interesting history because after Prohibition was enacted way long ago, terrible time in our country's history, what actually happened was some enterprising residents of Templeton decided that they were gonna go underground and start producing this really fine rye whiskey, and it was sought after. Supposedly a really great product. I haven't had the pleasure of trying it, but the barrels were actually sourced from the Templeton micro distillery, which used to be an illegal operation, and part of the family members that used to own that distillery started it again in 2001. So what happened was Boulevard was able to procure some of those casks and decided to make this with it. I had the opportunity to try this Rye-on-Rye, or a preliminary version of it, several months ago at one of Boulevard's Brewmaster dinners. This is significantly different from what I understand, and my first opportunity in trying this final product. So let's get into it a little bit. I love rye. It's such a fun grain. As any brewmaster will tell you, those are really quite difficult to work with. And difficult to work with, like these corks are to get out of the bottle sometimes. Difficult to work with in the sense that when you're milling the grain, you don't want to crush it too much or too little, otherwise you're not going to extract that wonderful rye flavor from it. So it's really provides some great character to the beer, but is very difficult to work with at the same time. And this is pouring just a beautiful color here, really rich. What do you think, Louis?
That's a beautiful color. It's got a rich head to it also.
And looks pretty persistent, actually. And I can actually smell it from here. So, kind of fun. Let's see. It's hanging out. It's pretty. I'm seeing a little sediment in there. It's got a rich, almost a red color. You know? A very nice amber.
It's really deep, too.
Really deep. And I'm sure a lot of that comes from the rye itself. So a lot of that's also going to come from that charred inside of the barrel that has been used in the production of that rye whiskey. You know, I'm getting some aromas here. I'm getting a slight citrus. I'm getting a nice, gentle toasted flavor, some caramel, without even sticking my nose in the glass. So that's pretty wild, actually. Let's see what we get. About the same, really malty. I mean, really malty.
But it's mellow, too. It's just like a...
Comfortable. Really comfortable. I'm going to give this a whirl and see what I think. This beer clocks in at 40 IBUs, which are international bitterness units, and also 11% alcohol. This beer was actually aged for 11 months in those rye whiskey casks, and then blended with a new rye, and then once again bottle conditioned within the bottle, which should seemingly mellow it out a little bit. First taste, I'm getting a really full bitterness on the back of my palate, which I really like, and it's lingering, and then it smooths out into a really mellow, comfortable, sippable beer. You know, we may not slam this one like I slammed the Harvey's Old Ale, but you know, this is definitely comfortable. The head is mellowing out quite a bit.
Yeah, that actually has a lot of flavor to it, though. I think I'm still getting flavor.
Still hanging out, really is. Really nice. This is a savory beer. This is a little sharper than you're not going to get some of those like trudging through the swamp, like super malty, sticky sweet feeling that you get from a lot of your stouts or porters. This is crisper, which I really enjoy. More crisp, I believe, which I really enjoy, but it's busy. It's interesting throughout the palate whatsoever, and it's just missing the very bottom of that full spectrum, which I'm really enjoying. I think this would really go well. The preliminary version I had of this was, I think, directly from the casks themselves, and it was significantly stronger than this one as a comparison. I think that one clocked in a bit higher, maybe 13% alcohol or so rather than the 11. I don't remember for sure, but we had that paired with a braised short rib, a wonderfully savory dish by the chef of Blue Stem in Kansas City. And those of you who are in Kansas City, if you've never been to Blue Stem, definitely go. Ask for a pairing from the chef. He knows his stuff. He put this beer together with that, and it almost blew my mind. That was by far the most memorable dish we had, and really a nice experience with the rye. With the rye, normally you get an earthiness, a graininess that I'm not really getting here. This is a really refined, gentle, mature rye. I don't know how many rye beers you've ever had, or if any for that matter, but this is really approachable by a lot of different people. Definitely a little boozy, but enjoyable boozy. It's not overwhelming.
Yeah, no, it's good, and I don't know either how many rye beers I've had, but I don't think I've ever started with rye beer. So this is
you normally end the night with a rye beer.
This will definitely be my first, but I'm not sure what at all I was anticipating. I was thinking maybe it might have more of a smoky flavor to it, or you'd be able to taste the specific cask.
The char, perhaps.
Yeah, but I don't. I think I almost like that. I'm not a big fan of the Adelscott or some of your other real smoky beers, but this has a lot of flavor. I don't know if I've yet figured it all out yet, but it's mellow and enjoyable. It's not offensive in any way, and it's not strong or quick.
Most definitely. I like it quite a bit. I can taste the sweetness of that rye whiskey, which is, of course, a trademark of American whiskeys. Of course, coming from the barrels in which they were aged. I don't know. As far as a rating, this is an enjoyable beer. It's very interesting. Solid effort by Boulevard. I'm going to put it right at a 90 out of 100. Your thoughts on that? Too high, too low?
No, give me a second.
All the time in the world.
No, I really like it. Although I think I might go like a 92 or 93. I'm not really sure what I was expecting out of it, but it is a lot better than what I was expecting.
It is comfortable. It's really enjoyable.
Yeah, but I like it because it's not offensive at all. I think sometimes, especially the Smokestack series, sometimes they try to pinpoint a specific consumer or a specific beer drinker group who has like an ideology of what exactly they want to be drinking. But the thing I like about this is coming in with an open mind. It's enjoyable.
Most definitely. Well, again, limited allocation of this. You should be able to find it throughout Boulevard's distribution area. They made approximately 10,000 bottles of this. There's a number stamped on there. I don't know if it goes all the way to that or not. I've heard anywhere from 8,000 to 12,000 bottles. So you should be able to find one here within the next 2 months. Grab it while you can. Again, it is a limited release, and because it's barrel aged, it really takes some time to do these things, and especially with Boulevard's limited cellar space right now.
So is this a beer that you can age? Like if you were to buy it right now and leave it in the...
You could totally age this beer. This is 11% alcohol. I do think time would really help this quite a bit. In fact, I'm thinking about picking up a couple bottles, sticking them in my cellar for at least a year, and see what happens. I know for a fact that this will probably age well over 2 to 3 to 4 years. So for those of you who actually have that sort of patience, which, I don't necessarily, so I'd prefer to drink the beer.
Buy lots of bottles.
Buy lots of bottles, stick a couple away, forget about them, and then give them as a gift to somebody you care about a couple years down the road. Perfect present. So anyway, thanks for watching. BeerGenius.net. Check us out on the web. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Cheers.
Prost.